James. Hello there, James.
Evening, Laura.
Good to see you. Now, this is quite unbelievable, this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Russian art collector, Dasha Zakova, I believe her name is.
That's it.
Now, I first saw this photograph on Facebook and I thought, is this some kind of hard-hitting anti-racism campaign? But it seems that she really was just sitting on a chair which looks like a black female curled up on the floor.
It's a head scratching moment because you're like, how many levels of bad taste are involved here? It's Martin Luther King Day in the US. Now, this was for a Russian fashion website, so I suppose they're not taking Martin Luther King Day into account. Martin Luther King Day, of course, would be a day when you would mark civil liberties, issues such as anti-racism and all of that. In any case, the woman who is seated on the chair, which partly is composed of a living black woman in fake leather gear, is Dasha Zukova, as you said. She is a fashionista. She works for a magazine called Garage Magazine. She's also the partner of Roman Abramovich, who is the Russian oligarch and owner of Chelsea Football Club. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking.
Is that not offensive? What was she thinking?
Well, it was the idea of a woman called Miroslava Duma, who is the blog or website's editor. The website, we should say, is called Bureau 24/7. It opened up in Russia a few years back. It has editions in the Arab world, in Eastern Europe, in Hungary, elsewhere. It's a sort of a global fashion website, right? So let's take a look at some of the reaction to this. First of all, when the first complaints came through, Laura, I find this quite hilarious. Instead of removing the photograph, they just cropped it.
So you just got the lady's
They were like,
legs.
okay, all right, they don't want to see, the black lady who is a part of the chair, so we'll just zoom. That's okay. The photo itself is fine. It's just people are getting a bit upset about one of the details of the photo. That's what you would almost conclude from the fact that they kept.
And she took to her Twitter account herself, didn't she, straight away?
She did eventually, and she said, "Look, I'm absolutely not racist. I apologise for, again, it's an."
I mean, what other chairs does she have around the house and the office? One dreads to think.
Look, there were even other poses. She sat on that chair for quite a while, obviously, because here's another pose where she's looking kind of sultry. I mean, how can you actually sit on
complete lack of
on a human being,
self-awareness.
especially this lady here with the boots in the air, and look sultry? It's quite amazing. Let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. Extremely disappointed in Miroslava Duma, who is the blog's editor, and Bureau 247 or 24/7, which is the website, for posting this nonsense. Even in the grim, tasteless world of fashion photography, this revolting, racist image published on Martin Luther King Day stands out. So I suppose the choice of day as well, even though that was more than likely accidental, also upsetting a lot of people. Sometimes I just can't with people and the fashion industry who decided that this was okay. Now, another couple of details on this. It appears that it was based on this delightful image, Laura, which is a piece of art by Alan Jones dating from 1969. Now, some who would be bold enough or brave enough or idiotic enough to defend the said image would be saying, well, look, he also did it with a white woman, so it's clearly not racist. My favourite tweet of the day on all of this is by @LondonLuker. Has anyone tried a defence of Alan Jones' chair? Yes, but he made one with a white woman too, an equal opportunities misogynist. Brilliant. I don't think there's any way of defending it whatsoever.
No, sit on something else, I would say. Now, Sacha Baron Cohen, now he gets away with a lot of things. He did something similar in his 2009 film Bruno, didn't he?
That's right. Somebody reminded me of this today. Let's roll these pictures from the 2009 movie Sacha Baron Cohen. Basically, he was the rather fabulous Austrian culture, or kind of, what would you say, fashion? Can we roll the pictures?
Fashionista. Can we have a look?
He was an Austrian fashionista, and what happened basically is he got Paula Abdul, an American pop idol judge, to come in and told her that you can. Let's just have a listen. Essentially, he told her that Demi Moore had these chairs, right, which for Mexican people, and she probably kind of thought that was a normal thing to do in Austria amongst fashionistas, which clearly it isn't. And there she just did that. She just sat down on a Mexican person.
She actually sat down on one.
and then used the one opposite, which was being used as a table, to reach out for a glass of water. So the whole thing was rather amazing. But you see, this is satire, and the whole point is that he was trying to, what would you say, show up the fashion world for being a little bit
Right, and
superficial
he was
on
doing
occasion.
that back in 2009.
That's right.
Poor old
And
Dasha Zakova
the
didn't see that
idea
film,
is that this is
obviously.
so preposterous that it would never happen in the real world. Yet we're going to see if some people could actually be.
I think some people
made to-
just like bad tasteless art, don't they?
That's right.
Attention grabbing.
Before we move on to the next
Yes.
issue, it reminds me a little bit, even though it's not quite the same, of the whole blackface phenomenon, where in the fashion industry you have photos of people, I suppose, putting on a lot of makeup in order to look.
These are white women
Black.
putting paint on their faces. To look
That's
like
right,
black women.
and it's a phenomenon often criticised when it does come up as being, well, just a smidgen racist.
Okay, very quickly on to your last item.
All right,
Washington
well,
Post.
look at what Europe 1 have done. Europe 1 is a French radio station, and they, in a bid to get an interview with Barack Obama, who will be coming over to Europe sometime later this year in March, they took out a full-page ad in the Washington Post. Probably basically saying, can you come on? We know that you've already tried
it's an
French fries, French boxing, French toast, etc., French kissing. So why not try a French radio station? They've also launched the campaign on Twitter, which is a little bit cheaper than a full-page ad in the Washington Post. #Obama on Europe 1. And this Europe 1 Twitter account says, look, if you come and if you give us this interview, we'll even ask you for advice for François Hollande's Twitter page, which is a little bit less developed than
Oh, I thought you were
Obama's.
going to say about his love life there.
Well,
I didn't want to say.
you might be able to give some advice there.
Well, they're
too.
a bit cheeky, aren't they? Maybe he won't decide to talk to them. He'll talk to François Quatre instead. You never
Who
know.
knows? Who knows? We'd
All
be
right,
pleased.
We would. All right then, James, thank you very much
Thanks, Laura.
indeed. James Creedon there. Well, moving on, it's time for our focus reports, and we're looking at a